eighth, the first baseman, Emily Jansen, and batting ninth will be the right fielder, Lauren Pasco. In the flex position tonight and not batting for the Spartans will be the second baseman, Erica Matic. And we mentioned already, since she's part of the batting order tonight, McKaylee Dooley will be Tampa's starting pitcher. In fact, she has started 6 of their 8 games so far this year and has pitched a total of 46.1 innings out of the 55 innings that Tampa has thrown. Dooley comes into tonight with a 3-4 record and a 2.12 ERA, and in those 46.1 innings, she's given up 40 hits, struck out 35, and walked only 5 batters all season to this point. For Florida Southern, leading off tonight and playing right field will be the freshman Lindsey Wilson, coming off a very good road trip to South Carolina. Batting second will be the center fielder, Shannon Bell, who is the reigning SSC Player of the Week. Batting third and playing first base will be Jessica Tranya, a former all-conference player for the Moccasins from 2 years ago. Batting fourth will be the second baseman, Alex Mace, and Alex was an all-conference selection for Florida Southern last year. Kenzie Green will be batting fifth, another of the Moccasin freshmen. She's the third baseman tonight. Batting sixth, another freshman, Jenna Weldon, will be the designated player. In the seventh position, returning all-conference catcher Ziera Floodman. Batting eighth will be shortstop Michaela Dewberry. And Dewberry was the SSC's top shortstop in terms of fielding percentage last year. And batting ninth for the Moccasins tonight will be the left fielder Desiree Klump, also another of the returning all-conference players for Florida Southern. Pitching tonight for the Moccasins will be junior college transfer Aubrey Ellers. Aubrey made one start for Florida Southern in South Carolina. Got off to a little bit of a rough start. Took the loss in the Francis Marion game that started the season, but then came back with a strong relief outing the next day against USC Aiken to earn the save in the second game of that doubleheader. And she will have the honor of making the first start here at Chris Bellato Field. For those of you who have followed Florida Southern for the last few years, again, you remember that last year we played off campus in Auburndale, so it's been 2 years since we've played here in Lakeland at the former Barnett Field. If you haven't been here before and you haven't seen what Barnett Field was like, it's really hard to describe the change that we've seen over the last several months and how this facility has been completely transformed. And it's not just the softball field that you see right in front of you. It's also beyond the outfield fence where the soccer and lacrosse teams now have their own playing facility, which will allow them, well, the soccer teams were already playing on campus, but allows the lacrosse teams now to play on campus during the spring as well. The problem with the old facility was that it was a combined field between softball and soccer for many, many years, and the soccer field in one corner ran right up against the infield dirt behind third base and the shortstop positions, which meant that during the spring when softball was playing, soccer could not conduct its practices on campus, and then when lacrosse was added, lacrosse could not play its games on campus. And then during the fall portion of the year when soccer was in season and playing here, the softball team had to find places to practice off campus elsewhere in Lakeland. Just caused a lot of logistical problems, and this project has been in the works for several years. And again, we've seen it come to fruition tonight. The lacrosse team will be playing, the women's lacrosse team will be playing its first game in its new facility tomorrow afternoon. Florida Southern ranked number 2 in the country and will be hosting top-ranked Adelphi in what is a rematch of the last 2 national championship games. And I'm sure they're just as excited to take the field tomorrow for that game as the Moccasin softball team is tonight. The soccer teams have not yet played on campus in their new home. That was not yet finished in time for soccer season this year, so they spent the fall playing in Auburndale and will finally get a chance to make their debuts out there next September. We're going to take a couple of minutes break, and we'll be right back in a few minutes here to start the first home game of the 2018 season, our 5th game overall that we'll bring you this year from Florida Southern. All right, we're back here at Chris Bellato Field. Our public address announcer, Sherry Zabo, running through the starting lineups for tonight's game. And our color guard is also making an appearance tonight for the national anthem in a few minutes. Not far away from the start of tonight's game. The Moccasins have a top-heavy schedule in terms of home games here in the month of February. This is the first of 10 consecutive home games that we'll play over the next 2 weeks. Last year, we played an abbreviated home schedule, obviously because of the stadium situation, and not always sure whether we could secure the dates we needed to secure or not for those non-conference games. So other than our 5 conference series last year, we only played 2 non-conference doubleheaders. This year we'll play more of a traditional schedule, and we'll have our first non-conference home doubleheader here on Tuesday night against Western Ontario. They are the Canadian national champions who will be making the trip down here to Florida. The Moccasins will also be at home again next weekend when they host another conference series against Eckerd College, and then conclude the homestand the following Tuesday with a doubleheader against Wheeling Jesuit from West Virginia. So we'll be on the air with you quite a bit here over the next 2 weeks. We hope you'll all be able to join us for all of those games. And again, we're happy to present all of those to you. As you can see, the Moccasins coming out tonight wearing all red, and this is the first time that they have ever worn all red uniforms. They do have the white socks with the red stripes, more of a traditional look in the socks. Some of them are going to be wearing the stirrups tonight. And you'll also notice, and what's a little bit unusual for college softball, is that all of the Moccasins do wear hats. And we don't see too many teams that do that, at least for the entire teams. In fact, over the course of last season, I kind of made a mental note of it, and only one team that we played had even as many as half of their players wearing the traditional style hats. I asked Coach Bellato about that a couple of years ago, and she said that's because when she started here in the early 80s, they pretty much did everything that the Moccasin baseball team did, which was already very successful in those days, under Hal Smeltsley and Joe Arnold, winning multiple national championships in the 70s and early 80s. So that was what Coach Bellato patterned the Moccasins after in the early stages of the program's history. And they have just maintained that as a tradition now, and it's something the players bought into, and think it's kind of cool that they're the only ones that do this. And we're going to step aside for a minute. We're going to have a moment of silence to remember the victims in the tragedy in South Florida and Parkland, and that will be followed by our national anthem.
And now this evening, our national anthem will be sung by Bryant Manning, and the colors presented by the ROTC Moccasin Battalion.
First
And that will get us ready to play our first home game of the season. Starting a few minutes late, like we said earlier. We had a lot of pregame festivities going on tonight and a lot of things going on that we won't normally have before the start of the game. Ceremonial first pitches. A lot of food down the line for the VIPs. I was not considered a VIP. I was not invited. But that's okay. We're here to watch some softball now and get the home portion of the season underway with our first conference series of the year against the University of Tampa Spartans. Tampa finished second in the Sunshine State Conference last year behind St. Leo and had a chance to win the conference last year in the final series of the year when they hosted Florida Southern in a 3-game series in Tampa. But the Moccasins took 2 out of 3 from the Spartans, knocked them out of the postseason race. Tampa not ranked highly enough in the regional rankings to receive an at-large bid, so the Spartans knew going into that series that they really needed to win the series to receive the automatic bid from the conference. And once the Moccasins took the first 2 games of that series, that pretty much knocked Tampa out of the postseason. And that was obviously the last conference series for either of these teams. Probably still a little fresh on both of their minds. I think it gives Florida Southern a little bit of confidence coming into tonight, knowing that they have taken 2 out of 3 from Tampa last year. In Tampa's last visit to Lakeland 2 years ago, however, it was the Spartans who took 2 out of 3 from the Moccasins. And we're ready tonight for the first pitch. Aubrey Ellers taking the ball for Florida Southern in Game 1 of this series, and will be facing the leadoff batter, Serena Cortez. Cortez, an all-conference player 2 years ago for the Spartans, missed much of last year, but back in the lineup tonight. She comes in with a .280 batting average, already has 3 doubles on the season with 3 RBI. And here is the first pitch of our game. That looks like it is over for a strike. Ellers will get ahead in the count, 0-1. Ellers last year in junior college had some very good strikeout to walk numbers. Like I said, this is her second start of the season. Ground ball hit foul down the third base line. That's going to put Ellers ahead, 0-2. In her first 6.1 innings for the Moccasins, Ellers has struck out 6 and walked 2, giving up 7 runs on 9 hits. Like we said, she got off to a little bit of a rough start at Francis Marion in that first game before coming back strong the next night to get the save against USC Aiken. Here's the 0-2. Pitches a little bit outside, and it will be 1-2 to the Spartan leadoff batter, Serena Cortez. Ellers ready with the delivery, and that pitch is fouled over near the first base dugout, and will remain 1-2. Like we said, these teams haven't played a whole lot of games, obviously, here at the start of the season. The Moccasins 3-1 and the Spartans 3-5. Their first conference games of the season. Here's the 1-2 from Ellers. That ball is popped up into foul territory down the first baseline. A trio of Moccasins give chase, but it falls out of reach of all 3. And the count will remain 1-2. Ellers' battery mate, Sierra Floodman, was second team All-Sunshine State Conference last year. When you include Jessica Trania, who was All-SSC 2 years ago, gives the Mocs a total of 5 returning All-SSC players, which is tied for the most in the league with St. Leo. Here's the 1-2. That ball driven into medium depth right field, but Lindsey Wilson will camp under it, make the catch for the first out of the game. Now that will bring up the shortstop for Tampa, Christina Clawberg. Christina comes in tonight hitting .304 for the Spartans. 7 for 23, still looking for her first RBI. Eller's delivery looks like it's right down the middle for a called strike. And she's ahead once again, 0-1. Eller's into the delivery again. Swing and a miss. And Eller's now ahead 0-2 in the count. The 0-2 delivery bounces into the opposite batter's box. Wanted to see if Clawberg would chase it. She does not. Count moves to 1-2. And the delivery comes in again. And this one is looped into short left field over the shortstop, Michaela Dewberry's head. Falls in front of Desiree Klump, and that will be the first hit of the night for either team. So it'll be Tampa shortstop Christina Clawberg who gets the honor of the first hit in Chris Bellato field history. We would have rather have seen that come from the Moccasins, but Christina will get her name in the history books. And that will bring up pitcher McKaylee Dooley for the Spartans. Eller's pitch floats in there, and Dooley tried to check her swing, could not, and Eller's again ahead in the count, 0-1. Dooley, one of the best all-around players in the Sunshine State Conference as a hitter and a pitcher. Here's the 0-1, and a swing and a miss. Eller's is ahead 0-2. Dooley off to a little bit of a tough start at the plate, though, this year. 3 for 19, so 158 batting average. She does have a double and 3 RBI. We'll talk more about McKaylee Dooley as we go along later tonight. 0-2 is outside, and count runs to 1-2. Tampa with a runner on first and 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Eller's 1-2 pitch lined into the gap in left center. And Shannon Bell and Desiree Klump are going to have to track it down there up against the fence. The ball comes in quickly from Bell. The relay coming in from Dewberry, and it is out. An out at the plate. An outstanding play by the Moccasins there on the defensive end of the game. That's something else we want to talk about as the night goes on, about just how good this Florida Southern defense has been over the last year. And you just saw an example of that. Shannon Bell getting to that ball quickly in the gap, getting the relay throw into Michaela Dewberry at short, who then threw Clawberg out at the plate. And that will bring the lead or the cleanup batter up, Maddie Farrell for Tampa. And there is a swing and a miss on Farrell. Eller's ahead 0-1. We've seen Eller start ahead in the count in every batter, against every batter she's faced. A swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Eller's looking to close out this inning. Dooley was able to take third on the throw to the plate. That should go as a double. And a swing and a miss for strike 3 against Maddie Farrell. Ellers finishes with a strikeout, and the Spartans, despite picking up 2 hits in the inning, are unable to score, and we will go into the middle of the first inning still scoreless. We mentioned earlier that Florida Southern's left fielder Desiree Klump and the center fielder Shannon Bell, both of them all-conference selections last year, and much of the reason that they earned those honors was because of their defense. And I've said several times over the last few months, if one of those two can't catch the ball, then it can't be caught by anyone. And even on a play like that where you have an extra base hit into the gap, Moccasin still found a way to turn it into an out. Shannon Bell led the team last year in outfield assists. Had a very good year defensively. Made an amazing catch in the doubleheader against USC Aiken last week on the road, going deep into right center to take what was going to be at least a double away there. Tonight she picks up the assist to help throw out a runner at the plate. And the Moccasins now coming up to bat for the first time. And it'll be the freshman left fielder, Lindsey Wilson, hitting .444. With a .545 on-base percentage, she takes outside for a ball. Lindsey was the only Moccasin last week to hit safely in all 4 games of that road trip. So here's the next pitch from Dooley. Low and away, and it's 2-0. Dooley working a little bit quicker than what we saw Aubrey Ellers in the top of the first. Wilson swings and misses. That's 2-1. Wilson with 4 hits and 2 walks in the 4 games up in South Carolina. Also stole a base for the Moccasins. A swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. And Lindsey is one of 3 freshmen in the lineup tonight for the Moccasins. There's the 2-2 from Dooley. Wilson checks her swing. They're going to appeal down to first. The base umpire, Brian Seraphin, says she did not offer. And the count runs full. Tyrone Miller, our home plate umpire tonight. Here's the 3-2 for Wilson. That ball a bit outside. And Wilson has drawn a leadoff walk. And that's something that Dooley does not do much of. Coming into tonight in her 46.1 innings, having issued just 5 walks. They'll bring the center fielder, Shannon Bell, to the plate. Shannon hitting .462 in the early going, 2 home runs and 5 RBI. She fouls off the bunt attempt and will fall behind 0-1. In fact, both home runs that Shannon hit on the road trip put Florida Southern ahead to stay in the 2 games where she hit them. Bell fouls it straight back into the netting in front of us, and it'll be 0-2. Shannon last year for the Moccasins hitting .345 with a home run and 12 RBI. Bell drives it deep into the gap in left center. That's going to get down and go to the fence for extra bases. Wilson's going to come around third to score the first run of the game. Bell motoring into third ahead of the tag and is safe with a triple. And just like that, 2 batters into the game, and the Moccasins have a 1-0 lead. Shannon Bell and Lindsey Wilson, both with good speed. As soon as that ball got down on the grass, you felt like they were almost certainly going to score the run. It's just a question of whether Shannon would end up with a double or a triple. And that's going to bring Jessica Trania to the plate. The Florida Southern first baseman tonight takes outside for ball 1. Jess started 3 of the games in South Carolina, went 2 for 9 with a double, hitting .222 in the early going. Dooley's next pitch. Swung on, and that's driven deep into right field, and that's going to get all the way to the fence and be extra bases for Jessica Trania. And the Mocs have an RBI double from their number 3 hitter in the lineup and are now ahead 2-0. Just turned on that one, pulling it deep over the head of right fielder Lauren Pasco. And this is something that Coach Mulatto really wanted to see again from Jessica Trania this year. 2 years ago, she had some very good power numbers as a freshman when she was first team All-Sunshine State Conference as a designated player. And Coach Bellato wants to see that again this year. And she will end up playing some first base. She'll end up playing some games as the DP this year. The Mocs are also going to use Alex Mace over at first base. They've got a lot of flexibility with some of their players. And including one of those is Alex Mace, who is coming up to bat right now. Mace was all SSC last year as the Mocs designated player. And she can catch, she can play first, she can play second, which is where she is tonight at second base. Really just depends on where the Moccasins will need her. First pitch to Mace is a ball. She's ahead in the count 1-0. That pitch fouled off to the backstop. Last year, Mace hit .257 for the Mocs overall, but in conference play was a .346 hitter, which is really what earned her that all-conference award. Here's the 1-1. That ball hit through the right side of the infield, and the Mocs are going to have runners at first and third. And Florida Southern's first 4 batters of the inning have reached base here. That is the 3rd consecutive hit. It's going to move Jessica Tranya over to third base for freshman Kinsey Green. Kinsey comes into tonight hitting .300. She went 3 for 10 in South Carolina with a double, a home run, and 1 RBI. First pitch to Green is a swing and a miss. Kinsey hit one of the 5 home runs Florida Southern hit on that trip, which the 5 home runs already equal their total, the team total, from all of last season. Here's the 0-1, swung on and missed, and Green falls behind 0-2. Florida Southern ahead 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. Runners at first and third, still with no one out. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and a swing and a miss, and Green is struck out for the first out of the inning.
Designated player number 4, Jenna Weldon.
That will bring freshman Jenna Weldon to the plate. Weldon hitting .286. Started 2 games in South Carolina, went 2 for 7. Both of her hits went for extra bases, one of them a double and 1 a home run. She has 2 RBI in another RBI situation here. Swings at the first one and falls behind 0-1. Defensively, Jenna more of a third baseman, but she'll also pitch some for the Moccasins this year and did pitch a little bit last week. Here's the 0-1, taken for strike 2. Weldon, another one of those players similar to Alex Mace. We'll probably see her in a lot of different spots this year, depending on what the Moccasins need on any given day. Here's the 0-2, fouled into the screen. Again, if you're just joining us, the Moccasins put their first 4 batters of the game on base, starting with a walk to leadoff batter Lindsey Wilson. And 2 of those have come home to score. Here's the 0-2, bounced out to short. She'll look the runner back. High throw over to first base by the shortstop Clawberg. But Emily Jansen able to keep her foot on the bag and get the out. Mace moves up to second. And that will bring up the catcher, Sierra Floodman, hitting .300 in the early going, 3 for 10 with 3 RBI. Here's Dooley's first pitch. Fouled over near the first base dugout. And Dooley is ahead 0-1 in the count. Floodman hits a little dribbler out to Clawberg at short. Her throw right on target this time across to the first baseman, Emily Jansen. And Dooley able to get the final out of the inning. But the Moccasins do quite a bit of damage. 2 runs on 3 hits in that inning. They do leave 2 runners, and at the end of 1 inning, the Moccasins are ahead 2-0. Right now, our public address announcer, Sherry Zabo, thanking some people who have helped make everything possible tonight. And one of them is the person who handles all of our facilities here in athletics, Frank Schoonmaker. He has been working very hard this week, getting the field ready, hanging banners, making sure all the advertisements are in place out there. Has done a wonderful job this week. I don't know that anyone has worked harder this week than Brink Schoonmaker, making sure that all of this is up and running. There were probably some times he didn't think it would get done in time, but when we showed up this morning, everything was in place, ready to go. The Spartans are going to start off this inning with the number 5 hitter. Leading off, Bailey Phillips. Phillips, the Spartans' third baseman tonight. A freshman for Tampa, off to a very good start for the Spartans. Actually, is their leading hitter coming into tonight at .368. She's 7 for 19 with 2 doubles and 2 RBI through the first 8 games of the season. Eller's first pitch is in for a strike, and that's 5 consecutive batters now that she has started with a strike. Here's the 0-1. Pitch tails just a little bit outside to the right-handed hitting Phillips, and it's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Phillips, and Ellers will be ahead in the count 1-2. Just starting the top of the second here, and the Moccasins up 2-0 in their home opener. Also the first of a 3-game series with the Spartans again tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back here for a 1 p.m. doubleheader. That pitch lined into left field by Phillips, and it'll be the Spartans' 3rd hit of the game. And it will continue the hot start for the Spartan third baseman. Phillips now 8 for 20, and that's a .400 batting average here in the first 9 games of her career. Up next for the Spartans, the designated player Taylor Farrell. Farrell's going to put down the bunt, fielded by Green. She's going to go down to second and get the out with Dewberry covering. Nice play by the third baseman, the freshman third baseman, Kenzie Green, on the attempted sacrifice. Threw down to second. Kayla Dewberry, the shortstop, took the throw for the out, and that's going to keep a runner at first for the Spartans rather than move one into scoring position. And bring up the left fielder, Shelby Press, who watches the first pitch come in for a ball. That is the first time tonight in 7 batters that Ellers has not thrown a first pitch strike. Here's the 1-0. Press watches that come in, and it's going to go to 2-0. Press hitting .300, 6 for 20 in the early going, a double, a triple, and 2 RBI. Here's the 2-0, and that is in for a strike. 2-1. The hits even at 3 apiece here in the top of the second, but it's the Moccasins with a 2-0 lead after their 2 runs in the bottom of the first. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Ehlers, and that is in for a strike. And the count is even at 2-2. Ehlers has thrown 27 pitches so far, and 21 have gone for strikes. Ehlers goes into the delivery. That pitch is lined into right field on one bounce to Lindsey Wilson. She comes up and fires it into Mace at second. May have had thoughts about possibly trying to get Taylor Farrell there. The ball got hit hard enough right at her that maybe she had some thoughts about the force out. But it will be the Spartans' 4th hit of the game, putting runners at first and second with 1 out and bringing up the first baseman, Emily Jansen. Jansen looking for her first hit of the season. Started the year 0 for 15 for Tampa. That ball grounded on one bounce to Green. She's going to run and take the force out at third and then hold on to the ball. The wise decision there. Another pretty good play by the Moccasin defense there. Green realizing she's got plenty of time to get back to the bag at third for the force out and get the lead runner. And then I'll bring the 9th place hitter Lauren Pascoe to the plate, the Spartan right fielder. First pitch is in for a strike for her. Floodman trying to perhaps catch Taylor Farrell napping down at second. She does get back in time. Spartans with a threat here, 2 out in the top of the second. Runners at first and second, and the 9th place hitter at the plate. That pitch just off the corner for a 1-1 count. Ehlers will deliver the 1-1. Pitch is fouled back. She's now ahead 1-2. Pascoe with just 2 at-bats coming into tonight and was 1 for 2. Has driven in 2 runs for the Spartans. Ehlers taking her time out there. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Floodman will have to throw down to first for the out and gets it down to Jessica Trania in time to do so. And the Spartans will strand 2 runners here in the top of the second. We'll go to the bottom half of the inning with Florida Southern still ahead 2-0. We're back here to start the bottom of the second inning. Leading off for the Moccasins will be the shortstop, Michaela Dewberry. And Michaela on the trip to South Carolina hit .273, going 3 for 11 with a double, a home run, and 3 RBI. The home run, the first of her college career for the junior from Wauchula. That home run is what put Florida Southern ahead in the first game of the doubleheader at USC Aiken. Dewberry behind in the count here, 0-2. We already talked a little bit about Michaela's defense. She led the SSC in fielding percentage at the shortstop position last year. Here's the 0-2. Dewberry hits it high into left center. And the Tampa center fielder coming over to make the catch, Serena Cortez. And that will bring up the left fielder, Desiree Klump, the number 9 hitter tonight for the Moccasins. Desiree hitting .214, 3 for 14 so far. She has driven in 2 runs for the Moccasins. First pitch into Klump is a ball. Desiree, another of the returning all-conference Moccasins, earning that honor last year while starting all but one game in left field. Takes a pitch for a strike. It's 1-1. Klump actually came to Florida Southern as a transfer last year from HCC and was also a second baseman. Takes high for a ball. Ended up winning the starting job in left field and played so well in left field, any thought of her playing second base has pretty much disappeared. Here's the 2-1. Klump will foul that off. Desiree set a school record last year for an outfielder. Did not make a single error the entire season. That was with 82 chances out there. That is the most in school history for an outfielder without committing an error. Here's the 2-2, and that's fouled off. And we're not just talking about the routine fly balls. We're talking about some spectacular plays out there. Some of the catches she made, we're not sure that many outfielders could have made. Two and 2 is the count. Klump bounces it down to third. And the throw across the diamond from Bailey Phillips is in time for the first out of the inning. Or correction, the second out. They'll bring Lindsey Wilson to the plate. Lindsey, of course, is who got things started for the Moccasins back in the first inning with that leadoff walk. First pitch to Wilson is on the corner for a strike. Duly ahead, 0-1. Goes into the delivery. That pitch looked like it was pretty much in the same spot, and it was again called a strike, and Wilson is down in the count 0-2. Here's the delivery from Dooley. Put it just a little bit further outside that time. Wilson again watched it go by. This time it was far enough outside to be called a ball. Here's the 1-2. Wilson swings and misses. The Moccasins go down in order here in the bottom of the second inning, still leading 2-0.
Once again, we want to say thanks to some of the folks who have made the dream of a new softball facility possible, and this goes all the way back to former Florida Southern Athletic Director House Smelsley, who hired Chris Bellato to start the program in the early 1980s and supported them throughout his tenure and beyond. Lois Webb is another FSC athletic director who has played a huge role in this project. We upstairs are especially thankful for the new press box complete with our investor, which has been named in your honor, Lois. We love you. And finally, a big thank you to current FSC athletic director Pete Meyer, who spent many long hours in Lakeland and around the country meeting with private donors and other companies as part of the fundraising campaign that brought all of this to fruition.
And we're back here ready to start the top of the third inning. Florida Southern with a 2-0 lead. Both teams have now gone through the batting order one time. And the Spartans will be sending their leadoff batter up to the plate again, Serena Cortez. Cortez flied to right to start the game for Tampa. First pitch to Cortez is hit into short right field. Wilson comes in, tries to make a diving catch, can't quite get there, and it'll drop in for a base hit, which will be the Spartans' 5th hit of the game. Shortstop Christina Klallberg now batting for the Spartans. Christina had Tampa's first hit of the game when she singled back in the first inning. Might be in a bunting situation here with Cortez at first and no one out. The Moccasins think so. Now she pulls the bat back and bounces it over the head of Kinsey Green, who was drawn in looking for the bunt. Crossed up the Moccasins there a little bit, because it looked like Klallberg initially was going to try to put the sacrifice down, then pulled the bat back and hit the one bouncer into left field for a base hit, which now brings the pitcher McKaylee Dooley up to the plate. She doubled back in the first inning. That was the play in which Shannon Bell tracked the ball down on the warning track, combined with Michaela Dewberry to throw the runner out at the plate. Pitch floats in for a strike. Miller's taking a long look into Floodman. Now goes into the delivery. The ball hit right back to Ellers in the pitcher's circle, and she kicks it around a little bit. Alex Mace will pick up the loose ball. And the Moccasins will not get an out. We'll have to see how they score that. And it will go as an error against Aubrey Ellers. And it's going to load the bases for the Spartan cleanup hitter, Maddie Farrell, who struck out to end the first inning. Ellers looked like she was going to be able to pick the ball up and get the out at first, but it got away from her. And now she's in a little bit of a hole with the bases loaded, but does throw a first pitch strike to Maddie Farrell. Maddie, who was hitting .292 coming into tonight's game. Pitch a little bit outside, and it's 1-1. Ellers gets the sign and delivers. Ball comes in a little bit high, and it's 2-1. Spartans with 6 hits in this game so far, but looking for their first run. Pitch bounce back to Ellers. She's going to field it, makes a throw to the plate. It bounces past Floodman, goes to the backstop. And the Spartans are going to get a run. And now they've got some runners hung up. They've got 2 runners down at second. Floodman not sure what to do. She's going to throw it down to Tranya at first for a rundown. And they're going to get the out there. And now the Spartans are going to try to score, and they get the second run in. And that's going to tie the game at 2. We'll see how they score that. It could be another error on Ellers. She bounced the throw to the plate to try to get the force out there. That got away and allowed a run to score. And then there was a lot of confusion. And that's going to bring Bailey Phillips up, the third baseman. Phillips ahead, or behind the count, 0-1. The ball bounced foul. Spartans again having tied the score here. They have a runner at second and one out. Phillips behind 0-2 facing Ehlers. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That ball is popped up into foul territory. Into the screen for a foul ball. Swing and a miss. Ball skips into Floodman. She's going to throw down to first and get the out. Dooley unable to go anywhere at second. That's the second time that we've seen Floodman throw down to first on the strikeout. It's the second out of the inning. Really, the Moccasins should probably already be out of the inning. Taylor Farrell now batting for the Spartans. The end of the game tied 2-2, Tampa with a runner at second and two out. First pitch is in for a strike. We'll run down that scoring play again for you here in a little bit. There's a lot of action going on. There was an error on Aubrey Ehlers. 0-1 delivery is in for a ball, so the Moccasins have made two errors in the inning, which have allowed the Spartans to score a couple of unearned runs. That pitch is in for a ball, and it's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Farrell tried to check her swing, but could not, and it's strike two. Two is looped foul down the third base line. And the count will remain 2-2. And the 2-2 delivery by Ehlers. Bounce down to Kinsey Green at third. She fires across the diamond to Tranya for the final out of the inning. But the Spartans are able to come up with 2 runs on 2 hits with 2 errors and 1 runner left on base. We're now in the middle of the third inning, tied at 2. Just to recap that inning, we had a lot of stuff happen there. Again, the first 2 batters ended up reaching base. Cortez and Clawberg reached on singles. And then McKaylee Dooley reached on an error by Ehlers, which loaded the bases with none out. At that point, Maddie Farrell then hit another ground ball back to Ehlers in the pitcher's circle, and Ehlers fielded that one cleanly, but made a bad throw to the plate, and it bounced past Sierra Floodman. The Mocs unable to get the force out at the plate. And that allowed Cortez to score the first run. And while all of that was happening, Maddie Farrell, who had hit the ball, rounded the bag aggressively at first, going down to second. And meanwhile, going from second to third was another Spartan runner. And we ended up with 2 Tampa runners who were basically hung up. Fortunately, Floodman then threw behind Farrell at first base down to Jessica Tranya, who chased Farrell down to second, was able to put the tag on her. But while that was going on, Clawberg then eventually came down the line from third and scored the tying run.
For the Moccasins,
And Shannon Bell will lead off the inning for Florida Southern. Bell had the RBI triple back in the first inning that put the Moccasins ahead 1-0, and she fouls the first pitch in the bottom of the third off behind us for a 0-1 count. Bell fouls the next one off, and it's 0-2. Bell's average now up to 500 on the season. Bell fouls this one off her ankle, and it'll remain 0-2. And here's the 0-2 delivery. Bell again fouls one back into the screen. Making Dooley work here to start the third inning. Bell already with 6 RBI in the first 5 games of the season. Here's the 0-2. That ball hit on one bounce down to third baseman Bailey Phillips, who throws it across for the first out of the inning. And up steps the first baseman, Jessica Trania. Jessica drove in the second run in the first inning with a double, and is now hitting an even 300. First pitch to Trania. Catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. Swing and a miss by Trania, and it's 0-2. Pitches outside, and 1-2 now to Trania. Dooley takes the pitch and ball and delivers outside. Count is even at 2-2. The 2-2 delivery is fouled off into the screen by Trania. Moccasin third hitter, cleanup hitter Alex Mace on deck. Dooley's delivery into Trania, again fouled off, this time off the screen in front of the Moccasin dugout down the third base line. This time Trania fouls it straight down at the plate. It remains 2-2. Trania bounces it down to the shortstop Clawberg, whose throw is just in time at first base for the out. That ball a little bit out of the reach of third baseman Bailey Phillips coming across, so Clawberg had to come in and make the play and was able to get off a strong throw and just nip Trania at the bag for the second out of the inning. And that brings up the cleanup hitter, second baseman Alex Mace, who singled in her first at-bat in the bottom of the first. First pitch to Mace, in for a strike. And Mace fouls that one off, and it's 0-2. Mace drives this one into center, but it is right at Cortez for the final out, and the Moccasins go down in order for the second inning in a row. And that is actually 9 in a row set down by Dooley. The Moccasins put their first 4 base runners on against her with a walk and then 3 straight hits. But since then, Dooley has faced 9 batters and retired all of them, and given her team a chance to come back and tie the game.
For complete schedule information, please visit fscmocs.com.
Aubrey Ellers back in the pitcher's circle for Florida Southern. So far through the first 3 innings tonight, Ellers has given up 6 hits, 2 runs, but they're both unearned. She struck out 3 and walked no one. Unfortunately for Aubrey Ellers, both of the errors in the game came from her. But she's back out here again in a tie game to start the 4th inning. And will face the 7th hitter in the Tampa Spartan lineup, the left fielder, Shelby Press. Shelby Press had a single in her first at-bat in the top of the 2nd inning, but was left on base when the Spartans stranded 2 runners. First pitch into Press is a strike. And Ellers continues to get ahead of hitters here tonight, which is something that she often did in her junior college career as well. Here's the 0-1, and that pitch is also in for a strike. And Ellers is ahead 0-2 at HCC. Ellers averaged less than 1.5 walks per 7 innings. That would have put her among the leaders here in the Sunshine State Conference. Ball lined up the middle off the glove of Ellers. Mace tries to come over and field it, but was unable to do so. Ball probably had a lot of spin on it after it was deflected off the glove of Ellers. We'll see how they rule that. No matter what the ruling, it does put the leadoff batter on base for the Spartans. And we'll bring up the first baseman, Emily Jansen, who tried to put down a bunt in the 2nd inning and was unable to do so. Looked like she was going to bunt again and then offered at it, and it is called a strike. Still have not seen a ruling on a hit or an error on that ball hit off the glove of Ellers. Swing and a miss by Jansen, and it's 0-2. Jansen's going to bounce that into the hole. Dewberry does an outstanding job to field it. Makes a strong throw across the diamond to Tranya, but it's not going to be in time. It'll go as an infield hit for the Tampa Spartan first baseman. They'll bring up the 9th place hitter, Lauren Pasco. Pasco struck out swinging to end the 2nd inning. Shakes high for a ball. Ball swung and grabbed by Dewberry on the line. Throws it across to Tranya. Can't get the tag down in time against Jansen. But what a play by Michaela Dewberry at shortstop. That ball looked like it was surely going into left field for a base hit. She just leaped up and grabbed it and nearly got a double play. Almost caught Jansen off the bag at first. These are the type of plays that those of us who see the Moccasins every day see Michaela Dewberry make frequently. Coach Bellato is going to come out and question the call. She thinks they got the out at first. Jansen obviously thought the ball was going through into the outfield for a hit and was off and running. Had to scramble back to the bag. The umpires are now going to talk this over. We'll see if we get a reversal here. If we do, you can be assured Leslie Cantor will be out of the dugout, but they're going to stick with the original call and say that Jansen got back in time. That'll flip the lineup over and bring the leadoff batter Serena Cortez up. Serena 1 for 2 tonight, flied out to right in the first and singled and scored the first run for Tampa back in the third. Cortez fouls that one into the screen, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That ball hit into center field on a bounce in front of Shannon Bell. She'll get it in quickly, which will prevent the Spartans from scoring a run. But with the base hit to center from Cortez, they will again have the bases loaded with 1 out.
Batting shortstop number 3, Christina Clauberg.
Christina Clauberg will come to the plate. Already 2 for 2 tonight, with a single in the first and a single in the third. First pitch into Clauberg is a ball. Bellers will go into the delivery. It's 1-0. That pitch a little bit outside. The count runs to 2-0. Eller's not someone, again, who walks a lot of batters. We talked about her averaging less than 1.5 per game in junior college. She's only walked 2 in the first 10 innings of her Moccasin career so far. None tonight. Ellers delivers the 2-1. That ball hit right up the middle, right between the legs of Ellers and to center field for a base hit. And the Spartans will get 1 run out of that. Shelby Press coming in to score the go-ahead run for the Spartans, who move ahead 3-2. And we'll bring up the Tampa pitcher, McKaylee Dooley, who is 1 for 2 tonight. Had the double back in the first inning before reaching on an error in the third. And the Moccasins may be going to the bullpen. They've had some action down there for a little while now. They're talking it over with Ellers now. And we are going to have a pitching change for the Moccasins. Looks like Jenna Weldon will be entering the game for Florida Southern from the DP position. So while we make the pitching change, we're going to take a little bit of a break and be back with you in just a second. All right, we're back following the pitching change here, with Jenna Weldon taking over for Aubrey Ellers in the top of the fourth inning. And she'll be facing the pitcher, McKaylee Dooley from Tampa, coming into a tough situation, 1 out with the bases loaded, trying to keep it a one-run game. First pitch is hit down to Tranya, who fields it cleanly, throws to Floodman for the force. They're going to go back to the bag at Mace, covering second. The throw a little bit late, but the Moccasins do get the force out at the plate. Jansen thrown out there, 3-2. Weldon gets the first out of the inning. Bases are still loaded, though, with 2 out. Catcher Maddie Farrell now batting for the Spartans. Farrell 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and hit into a fielder's choice. First pitch is a ball. It was Farrell who hit into that crazy play back in the third inning, in which the Spartans ended up scoring both of their runs. That pitch is popped up on the infield. Green comes down from third, calls it, and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. And a great job by Jenna Weldon, who comes in with the bases loaded and a 1 out. Gets a force out at the plate with the second out of the inning, and then a pop-up on the infield for out number 3. And the Moccasins escape, allowing just 1 run in that inning while giving up 4 hits. The Spartans do, however, take the lead 3-2. Getting ready to start the bottom of the fourth inning. The Spartans scoring a run there in the top half of the inning to take a 3-2 lead. Florida Southern will have Kenzie Green leading off the bottom half of the inning. We've seen Kenzie make a couple of nice plays in the field tonight already. Looking for her first hit in the game after a strong road trip, and she's going to hit the first pitch of the inning into short right center. Cortez tries to make a diving catch but comes up short, and that's going to fall in for a hit for Kenzie Green. Nice hit by Kenzie Green. Again, we said she was off to a good start, had a good trip to South Carolina, and she's now 1 for 2 in this game. The Moccasins are going to go to the bench now for a pinch runner. Their first runner of the night looks like Annie Tracy coming in to run for the Moccasins. One of their common pinch runners they use, bringing in a little more speed. We'll likely see Kenzie Green return in the next half inning to play defense. And then he'll bring Jenna Weldon to the plate. Jenna now the Moccasin pitcher, taking over in the top half of the inning for Aubrey Ellers, coming in relief. Weldon grounded out to shortstop back in the first inning. She takes a swing at the first pitch and fouls it down the first base line to make it an 0-1 count. Weldon stands in, takes the 0-1 from Dooley. That ball hit in a similar spot down the line and will carry over the Tampa dugout for strike 2. Jenna, as we said earlier, one of 3 freshmen in the lineup tonight for the Moccasins from Orange City, Florida. All-state last year. Bounces one down to third, and they're going to get the force out at second. That'll be the first out of the inning. The throw going from Phillips across to Erica Matic. That'll keep a runner at first for Florida Southern, but will be the first out of the inning, bringing Zierra Floodman to the plate. Zierra grounded to short in her first at-bat back in the first inning as well. First pitch into Floodman. Comes in a little bit high, and it's ball 1. Weldon now down at first after the fielder's choice. The 1-0 pitch into Floodman is bunted back to Dooley in the pitcher's circle. She hesitated at first before throwing over to first. Matic may have been a little bit late getting over there. So it'll go as a sacrifice bunt for Zierra Floodman on the play. Going 1-4. And it will move Weldon into scoring position with 2 out for the Moccasin shortstop, Michaela Dewberry. Michaela flied out to center in her first at-bat. First pitch to her is fouled into the screen, and it's 0-1. Of course, Michaela earlier tonight also with an outstanding play back in the 4th inning with a leaping catch to take a hit away from Lauren Pasco. It seems like Michaela does that at least once every game. Here's the 0-1. That ball popped up into right field, and coming in to make the catch for the Spartans and in the inning is Lauren Pasco, and the score remains 3-2 in favor of the Spartans. And as we suspected, Kenzie Green re-entering the game for the Moccasins to play third base in the number 5 spot. Most of you familiar with the substitution rules in college softball, different than they are in baseball. Each starter is allowed to re-enter the game 1 time. So this will be Kenzie Green's re-entry. If the Mocs were to sub for her later in the game, then she would be done. Kenzie off to a fabulous start for the Moccasins this year. From nearby Bartow High School, the Moccasins over the years have gotten quite a few top-notch players from that program. Traditionally one of the best programs in the state of Florida. In fact, really one of the best in the entire United States. Winning one state championship after another. I mean, I could put together a whole list of players who've come from there. I don't want to leave anyone out, but it is rare that the Moccasins don't have at least one player on their roster from Bartow High School. And Kenzie Green, another one in a long line of those players that has come from that program. Kenzie already with some big moments in her softball career before she even got to Florida Southern. All-state player at Bartow, but she hit a 3-run walk-off home run to win the Class 8A state championship game as a junior. That came in the bottom of the 11th inning and gave Bartow a 5-2 win over Countryside High School. And now here she is with Florida Southern, already with 1 home run to her credit with the Moccasins. Leading off the top of the fifth inning for the Spartans will be the third baseman, Bailey Phillips. Bailey 1 for 2 tonight with a base hit and a strikeout. First pitch into Phillips is high for a ball. Speaking of freshmen who are off to a good start, Bailey Phillips falls into that category as well. Bailey joining the Spartans from Jupiter, Florida. That pitch is high for ball 2. Weldon taking a little bit of time, similar to what Ehlers did. Here's the 2-0 pitch, high for ball 3. This is Weldon's third appearance as a pitcher this year. She's primarily played as a designated player for the Moccasins to this point, but pitched 2 scoreless innings in the first game against USC Aiken to get the save in that game. Pitches in for a strike. It's now 3-1. Came in, faced 7 batters, gave up 1 hit, struck out 2, and walked 1 to complete a shutout with Kristen Beecham in that game. Here's the 3-1, and that pitch is in for a strike. And it's 3-2. Here's a 3-2 delivery. Popped up on the infield. Mace is calling for it. Settles under it for the out. And that is 3 batters that Weldon has faced and 3 outs. Taylor Farrell now batting for the Spartans. The Tampa designated player, 0 for 2 tonight. Hit into a fielder's choice back in the second inning. And then grounded out to third in the third inning. Pitch comes in just a little bit high for ball 1. Weldon not off by much on that pitch. We ended up with a really nice night here, too, for our opener. It's been a little bit hot here in the afternoon, but it cooled off nicely tonight. Swing and a miss by Farrell, and the count is even at 1-1. Got a little bit of a breeze, which you may be able to see with the flags moving in center field. Really perfect weather for tonight. Here's the 1-1, and that pitch is high. 2-1. Mocs had some interesting weather up in South Carolina and Florence. They had to move the games up 3 hours to avoid some heavy rain that was expected later in the day, and they barely got those games in. It started raining in the 7th inning, and by the time they got on the bus to head to their next stop, it was pouring. 2-1 pitch. Just off the plate for a 3-1 count. Had those games started at the regularly scheduled time, they would have been lucky to get even 1 game in. And then the next day, the temperature dropped. Here's the 3-1 delivery. That's in for a strike, and we're back to a full count. In fact, by the time the Moccasins got to their hotel that night, the temperature had dropped about 25 degrees. They were into the 40s. It was 42 when we got up the next morning. Here's the 3-2 delivery. That is fouled straight back into the screen, and it will remain 3-2. I don't think we'll be playing in 40-degree weather anymore this year. First of all, the Moccasins don't leave the state of Florida again. And by the time we head north to places like St. Augustine and Tallahassee, we'll be well into April. Here's the 3-2 from Weldon. That ball, again, just misses. And it's ball 4 to Taylor Farrell. First batter to reach base against Weldon tonight. Again, Weldon coming in with the bases loaded and 1 out in the top of the 4th, and got the next 2 batters to work out of trouble and keep it a 1-run game. The Spartans still leading 3-2 here, and they're going to go to the bench. Going to make a substitution, bringing in their own pinch runner. And that looks like it's going to be number 10, Brianna Taphouse, going in to run for Taylor Farrell. Shelby Press now at the plate, 2 for 2 tonight with a pair of singles. Swings at the first pitch, grounded to Dewberry, flips to Mace for the out at first. That's all they'll get. Press got down the line in a hurry, had no chance to get the double play. Dewberry never even considered it. So that'll be the second out of the inning. And it'll bring up the first baseman, Emily Jansen. Jansen 1 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice in the second and singled in the fourth. That first pitch to her is high for a ball. Weldon falls behind 1-0. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Swung on and missed for strike one. Press down at first with 2 out for the Spartans. That delivery is in for a strike. And Weldon is ahead in the count 1-2. Ball is in, I think, for a ball. Did not see a call by the umpire, but it's not going to matter because Floodman's throw down to second, taken by Dewberry, and the tag is put on Press for the out on the attempted stolen base. So it doesn't really matter what that last pitch was called. It actually would have been a ball because if it had been strike 3, that would have been an out. And Press has thrown out stealing 2-6 and was shaken up on the play out there. Spartan training staff out to check on her. And we will be back in just a second. Bottom of the 5th inning. Spartans clinging to a 3-2 lead. And the Moccasins will be sending up their number 9 hitter, Desiree Klump, to start the inning. Klump grounded out to third in her first at-bat. Team's making a couple of substitutions here. We got a little bit of a delay to get restarted here in the inning. First pitch into Klump is a ball. Klump drives one into deep left center, or medium deep left center. And that ball is caught out there by the defensive replacement, Lauren Reyes, just into the game. Didn't even have a chance to announce her yet. Lindsey Wilson now coming up for the Moccasins. Lindsey 0 for 1. She walked and scored in the first and struck out in the second. First pitch to Wilson is a ball. Wilson will foul one into the screen over by the third base dugout. Wilson pokes one out to short, and it's caught on a soft line drive by Clawberg for the second out of the inning.
And for the Moccasins, center fielder number 2, Shannon Bell.
That'll bring Shannon Bell up to the plate. Shannon 1 for 2 tonight, had the RBI triple back in the first inning that put the Moccasins ahead originally, and then grounded out to third, leading off the third. First pitch to Bell is fouled off. And it's 0-1. Dooley has really settled down since that rocky start for the Spartans, in which the top 4 hitters in the Moccasin lineup were all on base in the bottom of the first inning, and since then she's allowed just 1 base runner and make it 2. Bell drives one into left field. It's going to get all the way to the fence for a double, and that will be Shannon's second extra base hit of the night. That ball, a line drive, and that's the way Shannon's been hitting all year. Shannon, the SSC Player of the Week, coming into tonight after hitting .462 last week, and she's off to a 2 for 3 start this week. And Jessica Trania now batting for the Moccasins. She's 1 for 2 tonight. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Jess had an RBI double in the first inning and grounded out to short in her last at-bat. So the Moccasins are going to have a crack at it here to tie the game. That ball bounces in there and evens the count at 1-1. 2 out, runner at second. Jessica Trania looking to get the Moccasins tying run in. Here's the 1-1 delivery. That ball grounded out to second. Bobbled there by Matic for a minute, but has plenty of time to recover. And she gets the ball over to first baseman Emily Jansen for the out. So the Mocs are unable to do anything with the 2-out double by Shannon Bell. Leave her stranded at second. And we will go into the 6th inning with Tampa still holding a 3-2 lead.
Spartans, number 19, Emily Johnson.
And we're back here in the top of the 6th inning at Chris Bellotto Field. Spartans holding a 3-2 lead over the Moccasins. And leading off the top of the 6th will be the first baseman, Emily Jansen, for the Spartans. She fouls one straight back into the screen, and it's 0-1. That pitch a little bit high and away for ball 1. Swing and a miss. And Weldon is ahead in the count 1-2. Another swing and a miss, and Jansen goes down on strikes. It's the first strikeout for Weldon. And what is officially for her now 2 innings of work. Number 9 hitter Lauren Pasco at the plate now for the Spartans. Lauren 0 for 2 in the game, struck out in the 2nd inning, and then lined out to shortstop Michaela Dewberry. She takes ball 1. Lined out to shortstop Michaela Dewberry in the 4th. The Spartans had runners at 1st and 2nd, and Dewberry climbed the ladder to make a spectacular catch for the out. Pasco takes high for ball 2, and that denied Lauren Pasco a hit. She only had 2 at-bats coming into tonight, so now 1 for 4 on the season. Pasco ahead in the count, 2-0. Takes the next one on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 2-1. Two-one delivery, a little bit high, and it's 3-1. Weldon trying to keep this a 1-run game. Here in the top of the 6th, she entered in relief of Aubrey Ellers in the 4th inning after the Spartans had scored to take the lead and had the bases loaded with 1 out. Weldon kept it a 1-run game there, trying to keep it a 1-run game now. But she does walk Pasco here in the top of the 6th. And that'll flip the lineup over and bring the leadoff batter, Serena Cortez, up for the 4th time tonight. And Serena already with 2 hits in the game. Had a single in the 3rd and a single in the 4th. Moccasin corner infielders playing in, expecting bunt. But Cortez swings away, and it's strike 1. That pitch high and almost got by Floodman. And it's going to even the count at 1-1. Floodman did a good job to reach up and snag that before it went to the backstop. That pitch is upstairs too and moves the count to 2-1 against Serena Cortez, the Tampa leadoff batter and center fielder. Here's the 2-1 delivery. It's offered at. Sounded like there was a foul tip on the bunt attempt by Cortez, and it's going to be strike 2. 1 out here, top of the 6th inning. Tampa with a runner at first and 1 out. Leadoff batter Serena Cortez at the plate against Jenna Weldon. Here's the 2-2. It's swung on and missed. Strike 3. And for Jenna Weldon, that is her second strikeout of the game. Both of them coming in this inning. Christina Clawberg will now be batting for the Spartans. She'll have a brief word with head coach Leslie Cantor. Clawberg having a very good night. 3 for 3. Singled in the first, singled and scored in the third, and singled again in the fourth. Looking for a 4-hit game for the Spartan shortstop. She was hitting .304 coming into the night and has pushed that up over 400 now. Takes high for a ball. Actually just a shade under 400. .10 is high for a ball. Floodman's throw down to second, where Alex Mace takes the throw this time and puts the tag on Pasco for the final out of the inning. That's the second time tonight that Floodman has ended an inning by throwing out a Tampa runner attempting to steal. She threw out Shelby Press to end the 5th inning. That throw going to Michaela Dewberry. This time it's Alex Mace taking the throw for the out. And the score remains Tampa 3, Florida Southern 2. We're ready to start the bottom of the 6th inning. Moccasins will be sending up their 4, 5, 6 hitters. Alex Mace, Kenzie Green, and Jenna Weldon. The part of the lineup you'd like to have up in these type of situations. Middle of the lineup. Down by a run. Here's the first pitch into Mace. That ball is in for a strike. Mace, a swing and a miss. Strike 2. Alex 1 for 2 tonight. She had a single back in the first inning and then lined out to center. Back in the 3rd inning. 2 hard hit balls, though, for Alex tonight. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Swing and a miss. And Mace will go down on strikes. And for Michaela Dooley, that is her 3rd strikeout of the night, now in 5 1/3 innings. Kenzie Green batting for the Moccasins. She too is 1 for 2 tonight. Struck out in the first and then singled in the 4th. She swings and misses at the first pitch from Dooley, down 0-1. Kinsey now hitting .333 for the season. There's the 0-1. Green pops that up down the line in right field in foul territory. And the first baseman for Tampa, Emily Jansen, will go back to make the catch for out number 2. It's a little bit hard from where I'm standing in the press box to see the foul territory down the right field line. Going to have to lean out here to see exactly how far those balls are hit into that territory. Jenna Weldon now batting for the Moccasins. That pitch is fouled away for a first pitch strike. Weldon back into the batter's box to face Dooley. Here's the 0-1. Pitch is low for a ball, 1-1. Weldon 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded out to short and hit into a fielder's choice her last time up. Freshman takes the 1-1 pitch. Inside for a ball. That was not off by much. Dooley, one of the better control pitchers in the Sunshine State Conference. That ball hit into left field, and it is going to be right at Reyes in her tracks, and it will be the final out of the 6th inning. So we'll remain at 3-2 going into the 7th inning with the Spartans still in the lead. Once again, we want to remind you that these two teams will be playing again tomorrow afternoon in a doubleheader that begins at 1 p.m. All Sunshine State Conference series are 3-game series, and most of them will be played on Friday and Saturday. Single games on Friday with doubleheaders on Saturday. The exception to that will be Easter, the week of Easter, in which Florida Southern and St. Leo will play a midweek series that week instead on Wednesday and Thursday. And then we'll have a few days off for the Easter holiday. But generally speaking, that's how the conference schedule sets up. That schedule format was adopted back in 2004 and has been used ever since. Prior to that, teams used to play 2 doubleheaders against each other, 1 at each site. And as the conference has expanded over the years, they decided to move to the 3-game series in 2004, and they've remained with that format now with the addition of Embry-Riddle and Palm Beach Atlantic, who are full members this year for the first time, which brings the total membership to 11 schools. So Florida Southern will play 30 conference games this year for the first time. Prior to that, we had not added a new team to the Sunshine State Conference since 2003 when Nova Southeastern came in as a provisional member, or rather I should say 2002, and then 2 years later was a full member. So we're ready to start the top of the 7th inning. Tampa clinging to a 3-2 lead here. And Christina Clawberg will be back at the plate for the Spartans. She was there to end the 6th inning when Lauren Pasco was thrown out attempting to steal for the final out. So Clawberg still looking for her 4th hit of the game. She's 3 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. First pitch into Clawberg is high for a ball. And she'll move ahead in the count 1-0. One-0 is high and inside, and it's now 2-0 to the Tampa Spartan shortstop, Christina Clawberg, a junior from right there in Tampa. 2-0 delivery is high and away, and it will move to 3-0. Three and 0 delivery by Weldon is in for a strike. Now 3-1 to Clawberg. That's in for strike 2. Weldon trying to work her way back, digging out of that 3-0 hole. She struck out 2 and walked 2 tonight, but the Spartans have yet to reach her for a hit. That ball is looped up to Michaela Dewberry, takes a few steps back, still on the infield dirt, and makes the catch. Michaela with another strong defensive effort tonight. That one was fairly routine, but we saw her earlier in the night take a hit away from the Spartans. She's handled 6 chances cleanly tonight. Now Michaela Dooley at the plate for the Spartans, the Tampa pitcher. 1 for 3 with a double. First pitch to Dooley as she tried to check her swing, fouled it off for strike 1. That pitch popped up into foul territory, and it'll make the backstop, bouncing off the screen for strike 2. Here comes the 0-2 delivery. That ball is ripped into left field. Past Kinsey Green, fielded by Desiree Klump, will get the ball back in quickly. And that will be the second hit of the night for the Tampa pitcher, Michaela Dooley. Maddie Farrell now batting for the Spartans, the Tampa catcher. Cantor going out to make a substitution. They're going to run for Dooley here in the top of the 7th. It'll be the second pinch runner of the night for the Spartans. Mackenzie Allen coming in to run for Dooley, just giving her a little bit of a break here in the top half of the inning before she undoubtedly goes out to try to close the game out for the Spartans in the bottom of the 7th. And now Farrell will step in and take the first pitch for a strike. Farrell 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out, hit into a fielder's choice, and popped up to third. That pitch is in for a ball. Evens the count at 1-1 for Maddie Farrell. Pinch runner Mackenzie Allen at first for the Spartans with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. That ball driven into deep left, and that's over the head of Desiree Klump. She'll play it off the fence, get it in quickly to Dewberry. Cantor sending in the runner, and she slams on the brakes. Cantor was waving her in. That was pinch runner Mackenzie Allen was waving her in, and Allen got maybe a third of the way down the line and decided this is a bad idea. Went back. It's a good thing she did because the throw by Dewberry was into Floodman and probably would have resulted in an out at the plate. So that's back-to-back hits for the Spartans here in the top of the 7th against Jenna Weldon, who had not allowed a hit before that. Gives them runners at second and third with 2 out. Assistant coach Gianni Artediello is out talking with the freshman pitcher, with Bailey Phillips coming up to bat for the Spartans. Phillips 1 for 3 tonight. It's one of those plays that doesn't really show up in the box score that Desiree Klump makes on a regular basis. Ball hit over her head. She can't make the catch, but gets back to it, and there's no hesitation. Everything is done cleanly, quickly, efficiently. The throw into the relay, in this case, Michaela Dewberry, right on target, giving Florida Southern a chance to either throw a runner out at the plate or, in this case, hold the runner at third. And we saw Desiree do the same thing on the trip to South Carolina in another critical situation with a throw similar to that. Here's the 1-0 into Phillips. It's high for 2-0. Tampa now with runners at second and third, leading 3-2. It's been a 3-2 game since the top of the fourth inning. Here's the 2-0, and that's in for a strike. Weldon now back on the pitching rubber. Delivers the 2-1. It's chopped foul. Evens the count at 2-2. Weldon in a little bit of trouble, really her first serious trouble, at least the first trouble of her making. She's done a very good job in relief tonight for the Moccasins, as she did in her last appearance. And Aiken pitches outside for ball 3. Weldon pitched 2 scoreless innings in that game against the Pacers and ended up with a save. And tonight she's officially pitched 3 innings here without allowing a run yet. But the Spartans do have 2 runners in scoring position here with 1 out in the top of the 7th. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and that's ball 4 to Bailey Phillips, and that will load the bases for the designated player, Taylor Farrell. Farrell 0 for 2 tonight. She has walked. That walk came in the 5th inning, and the Moccasins are going to go to the bullpen here for the second time. Michelle Lovell out to make the pitching change, and it looks like they're going to bring Ellers back in to try to work out of this bases-loaded situation. If you remember back in the 4th inning, it was Weldon who came in to pitch for Ellers in a bases-loaded situation and was able to work out of it. And now they're going to ask Ellers to do the same as a re-entry, which you can do. We talked about that earlier in the game. Every player gets the 1 re-entry. You don't often see the pitchers come back in, though. So earlier tonight, when Aubrey Ellers was in the game to start, she pitched the first 3 1/3 innings, gave up just 1 earned run, even though the Spartans got to her for 10 hits. Only 1 earned run. She struck out 3 and had no walks. Moccasins obviously trying to keep Kelly Galt and Kristen Beecham out of tonight's game, since they'll be likely pitching tomorrow. And so Ellers back into the game now to face Taylor Farrell here in the top of the 7th. First pitch for her is a strike on the outside corner. Weldon actually will remain in the game and still be the designated player, so she hasn't really left the lineup. just no longer pitching. Here's the 0-1 from Ehlers. That's hit down to short. Dewberry's going to field it, throw to the plate where Floodman will get the force. And there's the second out of the inning. The Moccasins will take it. 3-2 force out at the plate for the second out of the inning. And Ehlers will try to close it out here. Against the left fielder, Shelby Press. First pitch in is a ball, and Ehlers' second pitch. Waved at and missed. That looked like it was going to be ball 2. Press chased it. Count even now, 1-1. Press will step out. And here's the 1-1. That floats in there for strike 2. Shelby Press 2 for 3 in the game tonight. That ball poked foul down the first base line. And it will remain 1-2. There's the 1-2 from Ehlers. And that ball is driven foul and well out of play down the right field line. And that pitch is also fouled off down the first base side. This time just a little bouncer over to the on-deck circle, which you may have noticed featured the Circle Mocs logo. A nice touch added to the field this year. Instead of the standard on-deck circles, the Mocs have their logo out there. There's another 1-2 delivery, and this one is through the left side of the infield for a base hit, and the Spartans are going to get a run out of this. Shelby Press singling through the left side of the infield to drive in the 4th run of the night for the Spartans, who are now ahead 4-2.
First baseman, number 19, Emily Jensen.
Emily Jansen now batting for the Spartans. First pitch to her is low and outside for a ball. Two out here, top of the 7th. Tampa up 4-2. That's the first run in the game since the top of the 4th. Jansen swings and misses for a strike. Florida Southern scored 2 in the bottom of the 1st for a 2-0 lead. Spartans tied it with a couple of unearned runs in the top of the 3rd, and then took the lead with 1 in the top of the 4th, and now have added their 4th run of the night. That's a swing and a miss by Jansen. Floodman throws down to 3rd. Tried to get Phillips napping, but unable to do so. Drove her back to the bag. Count 1-2 now to Emily Jansen, the first baseman for Tampa. That ball is low and away for ball 2. Here's the 2-2 from Ellers. Ball popped up into foul territory. Jessica Trania makes a nice sliding catch over near the Tampa dugout for the out that will bring the inning to a close. Spartans end up scoring a run on 3 hits and leave the bases loaded. But Florida Southern still within striking distance, down by 2 runs going into the bottom of the 7th inning. Not a bad job there by Aubrey Ellers, who comes in to get the final 2 outs. And the Moccasins will have the 7, 8, 9 hitters up in the bottom of the 7th. That's Sierra Floodman, Michaela Dewberry, and Desiree Klump. And they will be facing Michaela Dooley, who re-enters after having been run for in the top half of the inning. Floodman, who will be starting in the bottom of the 7th, 0 for 1, grounded out to short and then had a sacrifice bunt back in the 4th inning, where Sierra's major contributions have come tonight are on defense. She has thrown out 2 runners attempting to steal tonight, which is one of the reasons this is still a 4-2 game. And Floodman steps into the batter's box to start the bottom of the 7th. The Moccasins will need at least 2 runs to keep this game going. First pitch is swung on and driven into center field, but that is right at Serena Cortez for the out. And Florida Southern is down to its final 2 outs of the game. Michaela Dewberry now batting. She has flown out twice tonight, once to center and once to right. First pitch to Dewberry is swung on and fouled back into the screen. They'll get a new ball back to Dooley. Dewberry swings on the next delivery and is down 0-2. Desiree Klump waiting on deck. The number 9 hitter, if either Dewberry or Klump, or preferably both, get on base. Dewberry fouls that pitch off. And that'll turn the lineup over and bring Lindsey Wilson up to bat. Wilson and Shannon Bell are the Mocs' top hitters this season, so they're hoping to get at least one of these 2 on at the bottom of the order. Dewberry lines one out into the gap in left center, but that's going to be easily handled by Shelby Press for the second out.
Left fielder number 6, Desiree Klump.
Desiree Klump now coming to bat, 0 for 2 tonight, grounded out to third and flied out to left. And this could be the Moccasins' last hope here. First pitch to Klump is outside for a ball. Moccasin left fielder has good speed, so she can even just hit the ball on the ground to the left side of the infield. She's got a chance to beat that out. That ball is away for ball 2. Florida Southern with just 2 hits since the first inning when they had 3. 2-0 to Klump is in for a strike. Will drive the count to 2-1. Those 2 hits after the first inning coming from Kinsey Green in the 4th and Shannon Bell in the 5th. Here's the 2-1 to Klump, who has to spin out of the way to avoid getting hit. That'll move the count to 3-1. Dooley averages less than a walk per game, and she walked the first batter of the game tonight, Lindsey Wilson, and nothing since then. That pitch on the outside corner for strike 2. So for the season, Dooley has now pitched roughly 53 innings and issued just 6 walks. That pitch, a little dribbler out to short. Carberg comes up throwing, but has no real chance to throw out Desiree Klump, who beats it out for an infield single. That's the speed we were talking about earlier. She can just hit it on the ground to the left side of the infield. She's got a really good chance to beat that out. Freshman Lindsey Wilson now stepping to the plate. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Wilson 0 for 2 tonight. She walked and scored in the first, struck out, and then lined out to the shortstop in the 5th inning, trying to keep this game alive for Florida Southern. Here's the 1-0, and that pitch is outside for a ball, and it's 2-0. Wilson, another one with good speed. Another left-handed batter for the Moccasins, trying to keep this going for Shannon Bell, who's on deck. Here's the 2-0, swung on and missed for strike 1. Dooley's 2-1 delivery, fouled off into the screen, and evens the count at 2-2. This might really be the first, what you would call pressure situation for the freshman outfielder from Chandler, Arizona, who's off to a very good start in her career. Here's the 2-2. That ball poked foul down the left field line. Florida Southern strength coach Zach Wallace fielding it down there, getting a lot of cheers in the stands. They may not have expected him to field it so cleanly. Here's the 2-2, swung on and missed for strike 3, and that will end the ball game, giving the Spartans a 4-2 win here in Florida Southern's first home game of the season, the first conference game for either of these teams. They'll meet again tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock in a doubleheader to finish the series. We'll run through a few of the totals for you here at the end of the game. Again, the Spartans winning 4-2, picking up 13 hits in the game. No errors for the Spartans. Florida Southern 2 runs on 6 hits. The Mocs did commit 2 errors, and they did factor into the scoring, helping the Spartans score both of their runs in the top of the 3rd when they tied the game 2-2. As far as the hitting standouts for the Moccasins, Shannon Bell collected 2 of their 6 hits, going 2 for 3 with a double, a triple, and an RBI. She also scored a run. Also picking up hits for the Moccasins tonight, 1 apiece were Jessica Trania, Alex Mace, Kinsey Green, and Desiree Klump. All 4 of those players going 1 for 3, and Trania drove in a run with her hit, which came on a double back in the bottom of the 1st inning. Again, the Moccasins jumped out to a 2-0 lead to start the game. First 4 batters of the game for Florida Southern reached base. Lindsey Wilson with the walk to start it. Shannon Bell with an RBI triple immediately after. Jessica Trania then doubled to drive in another run. Alex Mace singled. Mocs were off and running. 4 batters into the game. They're up 2-0 and have 2 runners on. But from that point, McKaylee Dooley took over the game for the University of Tampa. And after the hit by Mace, which was the 3rd hit of the inning for Florida Southern, the junior allowed just 3 hits the rest of the game and kept Florida Southern off the scoreboard as the Spartans clawed back to come from behind for the win. Dooley's final stat line in a complete game effort, giving up 2 runs on 6 hits, both of those runs earned, with 4 strikeouts and a walk. She is the winning pitcher tonight for the Tampa Spartans, evening her record at 4-4. Taking the loss for Florida Southern is Aubrey Ellers, who drops to 0-2 on the season. Ellers ended up pitching 4 innings, not consecutively, but starting the game and then coming back in relief in the 7th inning. She gave up 1 run in the game, or I should say 3 runs, only 1 of those earned. Jenna Weldon pitched 3 innings for the Moccasins, pitched well tonight, giving up 1 run on 2 hits. She struck out 2 and walked 3. Looked like she may have run out of gas there in the 7th inning with Ellers coming back in. Really not a bad game, though, for the Moccasin pitchers. A couple of those hits against Ellers were infield singles, too. Again, the errors contributing to the scoring there in the top of the 3rd inning. Once again, your final score, Tampa 4, Florida Southern 2. We'll be joining you again tomorrow afternoon with the first pitch of Game 1 of the doubleheader, tentatively scheduled, well, it is scheduled for 1 p.m. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we hope you'll join us again tomorrow afternoon.